as human beings, we face a lot of challenges in life, and especially if you like committed to something that's outside of your structured environment, so outside of your academic environment, and like sort of a control and like supportive environment, right? And and if you in a sport like mine, which is like running, right? The most common challenges that people face is not having the right gear to pursue their dreams, right? And today I just want to talk about how not having gear has literally taught me how to be a monster, right? But before we get into it though, I just want you all to do me a favor, just one favor. I want you to like try to locate this word, this button right here, and then I would like you to click on it. Under most circumstances, it's gonna give you like the bell notification. If you don't want to miss another video like this, click the bell notification. When you're done, ask you to please screenshot this tab right here, right? And send it to at least one friend and ask them to do the same. Let's get the ball moving, you know what I mean? First things first, you are humble, you understand it's a rare opportunity and that it wouldn't have happened under normal circumstances, judging by your current situation. Let me explain. So when I started running, right? In fact, let's not talk about then. Let's talk about now. What's happening now? Under my circumstances right now, I'm not supposed to be doing an extracurricular activity. You know what I mean? I'm not supposed to be like spending money on like transport to go anywhere. Everything is supposed to be focused on survival, 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 right? But then I got this rare opportunity, and and it's funny how it happened. But then now that I understand that it's a rare opportunity, it's sort of it's impossible for me to like to put myself in a position where I'm gonna like brag or anything. Especially especially when you're surrounded by individuals who just do this, like, you know what I mean? There's like, if you in my situation, right? When you do something, when you take part in something that is money based, because sports is money based, you're gonna meet a lot of people who have it easy. You know what I mean? Now that it really humbles you. It really humbles you because then you now understand where you're coming from. I understood where I was coming from, right? So if you understand the importance of the position you're in, you want to always make sure that you're respecting everybody. You know what I mean? You're gonna respect everybody regardless of how they treat you. You're gonna respect your coach, pay attention to your coach, do whatever your coach, bro, help. You don't want to put yourself in a position where your coach is not gonna like put your position where you're not trustworthy, you fucking lazy, you don't wanna be complaining. Like you're gonna do your best to stay humble and respect everybody around you. That's basically it. You cannot relate as much to the fortunate kids or teammates because you faced different challenges. That pressure molds you. Okay, let me just talk about how I get to practice, right? And hopefully you're gonna understand the type of challenges I'm talking about, right? So let's say we have practice at like 3, or no, let's say 4, right? Let's say we've practiced at 4. So, because our coach usually communicates early, it's like, okay, I'm gonna be there at like 4, I'm gonna be there at like 3, you know what I mean? What I gotta do is that, okay, I know it's a whole lot of walking because I have to walk from here to uh taxi rank, and then from the taxi rank, transport, that's yeah, well, the time. Transport, get to the taxi rank there, and then walk to the stadium, you know what I mean? So what I usually do is, if we're meeting at 3, right? If your training starts at 3, I gotta make sure that by quarter to 2, so at 1:45, I gotta make sure that I'm out here. I'm making my way towards taxi rank. I gotta make sure that I've got everything sorted out. I gotta make sure that I've not forgotten anything. You know what I mean? What does that instill into you? Well, discipline. You like, bro, you don't want to be late. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like being late. It's not in me. I'm gonna be late, but like it's just, you know what I mean? I think I don't really calculate, but I know if I leave here at 1:45 and I get to and I find a taxi that's already leaving, or taxi, at least there's gonna be like room for like special circumstances, like for example, you might get there, I might get there, and the taxi is like already leaving. Now I gotta wait for another one. You know what I mean? So leaving early has allowed me to sort of counter those constraints, you know what I mean? And then I have to get there, and then I have to walk there. That challenge, this is a challenge. It's a challenge because like it's not comfortable, you know what I mean? It's public transport, plus it teaches you how to use like money, you know, like I got a budget, like I said, I've got a budget that I saved up from my last job, right? So now I had to budget from that money that I saved, that you know what, for the next few months, this is what I'm gonna use, and this is how much I must be using per week. You know, so sometimes I sacrifice. You know, you also gotta deal like I said with the gear thing, but I'm just like gonna like generalize and try to make you understand what it's all about, right? You know, sometimes you literally, it's tough, especially on your mentality, especially as a kid. You know what I mean? If for kids, you know, as an adult, not an adult, but like as an older individual like me, you know what I mean? It's not really, you know, you get to a point where you just don't give a fuck about what other people think and about what other, you know what I mean? But like for kids, it's like it's very tough for them because now it's like, yo, why do they like, they might understand the situation at home, right? But they don't understand why are my shoes torn, and why is he wearing Nike? You know what I mean? Why does he have Nike spikes? You know what I mean? Why do I only have like one pair of shoe, like a single pair of shoes to train and to like to dress casually and stuff like that. So it teaches you that literally teaches you to adapt, bro. It teaches you to be adapt to like to adapt to circumstances, to certain circumstances, because it really it really forces you to change. You know what I mean? No, not to change, but then it forces you to sort of understand that the work must be done either way. You know what I mean? The work must be done either way. So now, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who has what, because we're doing the same training at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that makes sense, but like you can't relate to the other kids in terms of material possessions, right? But at the end of the day, you're forced to adapt, and you do the same work either way. So it's a win-win for everyone. So I don't know if that really makes sense, but like yeah, it forces your mind to adapt where others would quit. Like I said, it ties into the second point I made earlier, bro. I don't know if it's just me, right? But like I feel like the more stress you put on your body under um different circumstances, is the more your body will adapt to those different circumstances. Let me explain. So if you have a single pair of shoes, right? If you have a single pair of running shoes, and you know, as a runner, especially distance, you're gonna run on grass, on tartan, on the track, as well on the road, right? That fucking builds into your mentality. Your shoes sort of become invisible to you. You know what I mean? It's almost like it doesn't make it. I've seen kids. I've seen one of these rich kids. You know what I mean? That have like that have it all. Like they have running the road shoes. You know, these shoes they use for roads. You know what I mean? Then they have their spikes on track, and then they have like the trainers they use for like warm up, and like trainers. You know what I mean? Now, since you speaking from my experiences, I didn't have like all. I don't have all of those. You know what I mean? You sort of put in a position where something as little as, well, not having like tracksuit, you know what I mean, isn't gonna stop you from coming to practice. You know what I mean? You always gotta adapt. You know what I'm talking about? I know I've talked about shoes a lot, but there's a lot of material items. For example, not having a watch on top. Like, yeah, I remember I do a lot of solo running too. You know what I mean? Just like everybody else. And what I used to do before is I would have the Adidas Runner app on my phone. You know what I mean? The phone before this one, and I used to run with it. I used to. I don't now. I don't do it anymore. It's not safe. Either way, it's something I really want to stop. So I got a watch. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's not GPS enabled, but like it does the job. Like, you know what I mean? It gets the job done. As long as you have a timer, that's all I need. So you sort of you forced to adapt, bro. Like, you know, there's days when my phone wouldn't like be charged or something, and I need it in the morning. You know what I mean? I'd always try to counter that. So I'd wake up in the morning. I'll wake up maybe earlier or something and realize, oh fuck, it's not charged. Then I'll go into Google Maps, you know what I mean, and try to calculate using landmarks. Okay, this is a K, this is 2, this is 3K, you know what I mean, judging on what I'm going to do that day, and then I'll just run that, you know what I mean. You when other people will quit, you always find a way to counter and find a way to survive so you can get the job done. You know what I'm talking about. What I believe is not having the right items isn't, or the right gear, or the right mindset, or the right support, or something, isn't an excuse to not do what you want to do. It's almost like YouTube. It's like life. I don't have a camera. I don't have nothing. I don't have money, but I'm still gonna shoot, and I'm still gonna post. You know what I mean? I don't have the right shoes. I don't have, you know what I mean? But I'm still gonna chase. I'm still gonna chase running. I'm still gonna, you know what I mean? So don't let stuff like that phase you, though. The fact that other kids have this and you don't, it's out of the question, bro. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You know what I mean? In fact, you know what? Let me show you what okay, so I started running last year with this training group, but let me show you what shoe I started running with to prove that gear, not having the right gear isn't an excuse for anything. You know what I mean? I mean, it does make a difference, but what kind of difference? You know what I mean? It's just shoes at the end of the day. This, bro. Literally, I don't know if y'all can see it. What literally happened is that a while ago, I think a year after matric, I think during matric, I think for cross country season, something happened to my shoes, you know what I mean? And these are like basic shoes, you know what I mean? And I sort of had to, so it was open right here. Check this out. So I had to find wool and I had to sew it on. I don't know if y'all can see that. Yeah, man, you gotta sort of adapt, bro. And it's crazy because if I think about it, this isn't the first time I did it, bro. I've done it with my school shoes. I've done it on soccer boots. Soccer boots a lot, bro. A lot of times, bro. Done it. I did it here as well. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, there, bro. So it's not an excuse for you to not chase your dream, bro. And I had these shoes like since when? Since 2022. I think 2022. 2022. It's almost. Is it 3 years? I think it's almost 3 years now. But it's still yeah. You know what I mean? So it's not having the right gear is not. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse, bro. It's not an excuse, bro. I ran 10 kilometers in 36 minutes with these, bro. That's my PB. 36. I think it's 36:51. I'm not sure, but I ran my 10K PB 36 minutes. It's not, well, I don't know why I said it. It's not crazy. It's not crazy time, but like I did it because I'm him. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like you don't understand, bro. Like this shoe's like so thin. It was really fucking with my ankles, bro. And my heels, bro. Like sometimes, like, you know, after a while, like I'll get like, I don't want to say injuries, but then some pains that are not normal. You know what I mean? Like it's so thin, bro. Check this out. Like, see, like, so if I step on something like a glass, if I step on like a glass and something is chai for me, you know what I mean? So not having the right gear is not an excuse, my boy. Go out, do whatever, bro. Do what you must, do what you must. I've seen people like Kasi. I'm speaking football, I've seen them play barefoot. I've seen them playing techies, whatever they could find, school shoes, bro. I've seen it happen, bro. Sometimes it's for the love of the game, and it's not about everything else. You know what I mean? So go out there, chase your dreams. I'm gonna see you on the next one.